into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. And oh, baby, we got a big basketball show for you today. 7 total picks crossing the NBA and college hoops, of course, coming off a disappointing 2-2 performance last night. One of the wins, kind of a funny one, though. Of course, if you watched the show yesterday, you know I took the Oklahoma City Thunder +8. Early in the evening, it comes out that SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, great Canadian basketball player, would be missing the game. Obviously, the best player by far on the Thunder. Now I think to myself, oh my God, well now my bet is completely fucked. That was not the case. The Thunder go on to beat the living shit out of the Boston Celtics. They scored 150 points. Dumb luck. I'll take it. A win's a win, I guess, right? All right, so very excited to bring in my co-host for today. This man is absolutely on fire here on Chasing That Paper. 6-0 in his last 2 programs, picking college hoops. Kevin Rogers, down in Florida. There he is. Look at him. Look at him. There we go. 6-0. So
Happy New Year, Joe.
Yeah, same to you, Kevin. A guy up in Canada and a guy down in Florida doing a sports betting show together. It doesn't get any better than that. Kevin, how are your New Year's resolutions going so far? You quit yet or what?
No, I don't have resolutions. I don't make resolutions. I just show up. That's it. Years don't matter. You just keep going. I learned a long time ago, you can make a resolution any day of the year. April 23rd, October 6th, doesn't matter. You don't have to wait until January 1st to do it. Be a better person today.
Show up, work hard, don't complain about the small stuff. Indeed, great messages from both Kevin and I to open the program, but that is enough small talk. Let's get right into tonight's action. We're going to jump back and forth from the NBA and college hoops here. Let's start with the NBA. Beautiful Charlotte, where the Hornets play host to the greasy Grizzlies. And I'm going to take a shot on those Memphis Grizzlies, -7.5. Check out Memphis. When they win big. Their last 8 wins have all come by double digits. Average win by Memphis this season comes by 13.6 points. That's a 3rd best in the NBA. Dig into the numbers here. Major defensive advantage for the Grizzlies in this one. 1st versus 24th in opponent EFG shooting percentage over the last 10 games. Charlotte also 25th in opponent free throw attempt rate. They're getting killed from three-point land. A lot of ways for Memphis to score in this one. There won't be a lot of ways for the Hornets to score in this one because they're struggling offensively, going up against a great defense. Check out the Charlotte Hornets here. 29th in EFG percentage over the last 10 games. They're not getting to the line very much. Three-point shooting has been very bad. Just a major mismatch. Give me the healthy Memphis Grizzlies -7.5. Okay, Kevin, your first pick for college hoops. What are you looking at?
Joe, I'm going to go with George Mason. That's right, taking on St. Bonaventure in Atlantic 10 action. I'm going to lay the short number with the Patriots coming up tonight. And George Mason, when you look at what they've done so far, I mean, both of them only played 1 game. Both have won their first Atlantic 10 game. George Mason, they held off Richmond on Saturday, and St. Bonaventure blew out UMass. But George Mason has been pretty good against the spread of late. 6-1 ATS the last 7 games. St. Bonaventure had a 4-game losing streak prior to that win over UMass on Saturday. Really resounding win. They played very well from start to finish. But still, it says a lot that George Mason and St. Bonaventure, who are kind of close, they're not really one team isn't that much better than the other, but George Mason, pick 'em, laying 1 on the road does say a lot, and George Mason's defense has stepped up of late. They've held 4 of their past 5 opponents to 58 points or less. I would have thought the Bonnies would have gotten more respect here. They have not. So let's back the Patriots of George Mason to take care of business on the road and prove to 2-0 in Atlantic 10 play, Joe.
All right, next up, we are off to beautiful New York City, where the San Antonio Spurs are in town to take on the Knicks. I'm going to take a shot on the Knicks to cover the first quarter spread, coming in at -3. This has been a season-long hot spot for the Knicks. They are 14-4 against the spread in the first quarter at home this season, where they have a league best 6.1 point margin. This matches up perfectly with the Spurs, who start very slow. They are 30th in first quarter point margin, both overall and on the road, minus 5.6 point margin in the first quarter on the road this season. You dig into the numbers, big defensive gap here favoring the Knicks, 8th versus 29th in opponent EFG percentage over the last 10 games, 4th versus 30th in points allowed per 100 possessions in this span. And a bit of a side note here, these teams played just a couple of days ago on December 30th in San Antonio. The Spurs did outscore the Knicks by 9 in the first quarter in that game. Expect that to be fresh in New York's mind. And they look to get back to a spot that they've excelled in all season long. Give you the Knicks in the first quarter. Kevin, what are you looking at next?
My second game, I'm favoring Tito's USF Bulls here, and I'm going to back USF. They're hosting Temple. I know, right? I mean, I really can't imagine I'm taking USF many more times in general, much less on the show, Joe. But today, I do like the spot for the Bulls. Taking on Temple, and Temple's played well so far in American play. They're 2-0. They beat East Carolina and Cincinnati as an underdog. But I think here they take a step back. USF, they've covered 3 in a row. They hung with Memphis in their first American game. Lost that game. It was pretty much a shootout, 93-86, but covered as 15-point favorites. USF has played well, though, in the home favorite role of late. 5 consecutive wins as a favorite, because when you go back to what USF did to start the season, they had some bad losses. I don't tell Tito that again, but they had some bad losses, losing to Southeast Missouri State, Stetson, Austin Peay. Bad ones. But since then, they've been better, and they only have 2 losses, losing to UMass and to Memphis in the last their last 2 defeats since late November. So let's go with USF. Let's have them to beat Temple. We'll just do it one time, and that's it, and move on. But let's take the Bulls as our second best bet, Joe.
USF. Okay, next up for me, it is the battle of the beaches, Miami and Los Angeles. The Heat versus the Lakers. I'm going to take the home dog here. This is too many points. Give me the Lakers +6 in this one. And you check out Miami. They're coming off a win in Los Angeles versus the Clippers, but we're not seeing any consistency whatsoever from this Miami Heat team. 5-12-2 ATS after a win this season. Only twice this season have they covered in consecutive road games as well. That's worth keeping in mind here. And some major defensive issues for Miami. Uncharacteristic of them. The last 10 games, 26 in opponent EFG percentage, 28 in opponent free throw attempt rate, getting destroyed from three-point land. Lakers should be able to take advantage of that. They are 5th in EFG percentage over the last 10 games. And these teams played just a couple of days ago, December 29th. The Heat won by 14 in Miami, but there was a significant, major outlier in that game. The Lakers had an insane 26 turnovers to just 6 for Miami. That's about 10 more than the Lakers' season average. They haven't come close to that. And they're 2 games after that loss to the Heat. Both wins, by the way. So expect the Lakers to clean it up and keep this one close. Kevin, your final pick for the show today. What are you looking at?
I'm going to go to the Mountain West, Joe, and Nevada. Even though I've said Nevada for a very long time, Nevada is the right way you say it. They're hosting Colorado State, and I'm taking the points of Colorado State with the Rams here over the Wolfpack. Now, these teams have gone in different directions to start Mountain West play. Colorado State, they were blown out by New Mexico in their first Mountain West game. New Mexico was the most recent undefeated team, or the last undefeated team in the country before losing to Fresno State last night. So they lost to a pretty good New Mexico team the first game. Then they were up early on San Jose State, had a double-digit lead laying 9, ended up losing that game 78-70 on Saturday somehow. So a little bit of desperation mode here for Colorado State. For Nevada, they've won 4 straight. They're 2-0 in the Mountain West. They beat Boise State and Air Force both in close games. But here, getting some points to Colorado State, I think that it's the right side. Also, Colorado State, they did pull off the sweep of Nevada last year. Now, granted, the game that was in Reno, Colorado State was favored in that one. Now they're a dog, so obviously Nevada's improved, or Colorado State's taking a step back. But I think here Colorado State wants to avoid that 0-3 start inside of the Mountain West. They got Fresno and Air Force coming up at home, games that they should win. So if they could win this one, maybe they get back on track. And for Nevada, they have an interesting schedule coming up at San Jose State, who's improved, at San Diego State, who's very good, Utah State, who's very good. So Nevada here, obviously, they want to get this win because they have a little bit of a rough road ahead of them. But I think it'll be a close game. I'll take the points with Colorado State.
Okay, final pick of the show today. I'm taking a look at Donovan Mitchell, and I like him to have another 70-point game tonight. Odds coming in at plus 110 for this one. Pretty good odds here. Good. No, just completely joking. I'm going to go with a bit of an under-the-radar prop tonight in the NBA. Kyrie Irving. I like him to go over 4.5 rebounds, coming in with odds of minus 102. So Kyrie, he's been pretty good on the glass, very active in the rebounding department here. He's topped this in 10 of his last 12 games, averaging 6.3 rebounds per game in this span. Bulls are allowing a lot of rebounds to opposing guards. They are 26 in rebounds allowed to opposing guards over the last 10 games. So not boxing out very well, apparently. And he's seeing a lot of time on the court here. He leads Brooklyn in minutes. And if he's on the floor, he's going to be by the ball. So more time on the court equals more opportunity to produce and hopefully grab at least 5 rebounds in this one. So there you have it. Irving over 4.5 rebounds. Kyrie Irving, everyone's favorite player. He's been playing pretty good lately. Okay, guys, 7 total picks. If you're looking to tail, if you're looking to fade any of those picks, the choice quite simply is yours. I recommend placing your action over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Kick off your day of sports betting with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VIBONUS, all one word, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. All right, Kevin, a couple topics to kick around here. What's going on in the NBA? It's been a lot of fun lately. These player point totals, guys just completely going off. Yesterday we were talking about Donovan Mitchell, a 71-point game. Luka, a bunch of 50s and 60s. And just last night it happened again. Giannis went off for 55 points. And per NBA Buzz here, for the first time in NBA history, 4 different players have had a 50-point game over a 4-day span. Luka with 51 on Saturday. Donovan Mitchell, of course, 71 on Monday. Klay Thompson, where'd that come from? 54 on Monday, a vintage performance for him. And Giannis with a career high 55 last night. And I think this is some sort of record. We've had 14 50-point games here so far this season. A lot of them happening since December. The one from Luka, Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Davis had 55 on December 4th. Joel Embiid had a 53 on December 11th. Pascal Siakam had a 52 on December 21st. Darius Garland had a 51 earlier in the season. Luka had a 50-point game on December 23rd. So complete insanity. I think it's a lot of fun. I think we're getting close to a point where you're going to hear people complaining about it for some reason, because we have to complain about something for some reason. People are going to say, oh, it's watered down or some bullshit. I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun, fun highlight type of stuff during the regular season. But what do you think? Do you think these guys are seeing this from night to night and it's essentially like a thing like, okay, hold my fucking beer. It's my turn to go off. So what do you think of these high point totals that we're seeing?
I think it's a good thing, Joe. And number one, think about it like this. If you went to see Donovan Mitchell score 71 on Monday night, you could always say, I saw Donovan Mitchell in person score 71 points against the Bulls. It's like that Kobe game where he put up 81 against Toronto. Like, nothing beats that. Like, that memory I saw when I was younger at the Miami Arena, and Tito would appreciate this. Glenn Rice scored 56 points against the Orlando Magic. He couldn't miss. He hit every shot that he took. And things like that, like the Luka 60-point, 20 rebound, 10 assist game, whatever that was, that crazy game against the Knicks. You don't forget these things. Like, there are so many forgettable games that we watch in every sport day in and day out. But when you have games like this, Klay Thompson, 54 a few nights ago for Golden State, what Steph has done in the past as well, having some of his crazy games, seeing what Giannis did, the Mitchell game, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, seeing these guys, the best basketball players in the world, just light it up and they can't miss, what's wrong with that? I don't know why anybody would say, oh, well, this is not good for the game. No, anything that's interesting and anything that you could talk about on a positive note like this, I think is great for basketball. To see anybody just light it up on any given night, it just shows you how talented they are. I think it's a good thing. Keep bringing out these nights and see who is going to hold the beer, who is going to have another great night tonight or tomorrow, who could score 50 or 60 in a game.
I love it. Great commentary by Kevin there. And yeah, it is a good spot again for Donovan Mitchell, who's going up against the Suns team that allows a lot of free throws. So I think I saw Donovan Mitchell to score at least 40 points was going off at odds of plus 425. I wouldn't be shocked to see it. Darius Garland out again here for Cleveland. So Kevin, you're our big college football guy here at Vegas Insider. So I need you to talk me through this national championship game a little bit. Coming up on Monday, we have TCU, 12.5-point underdog. What looks to be maybe a high total of 62.5. Well, maybe not so much if you consider recent scoring patterns from each of these teams. Well, what does this TCU team have to do to earn a little bit of respect? A pretty big underdog here. 13-1 on the season. They've been a great bet all season, too. 10-3-1 against the spread. Are people sleeping on TCU? What's going on here?
I don't think they're sleeping on them, Joe, necessarily. I think it's kind of like what my frame of mind is, that sooner or later, you're going to run into someone like Georgia, who is the best team in college football, that may just take care of business here, finish off a second straight national championship, and just be done with TCU. Look, TCU could lose this game 70-0 to Georgia on Monday, and they still had the best season in their school history. And nobody thought anything of TCU. Forget about being in the college football playoff. Forget about being in a good bowl. Forget about winning the Big 12, just being this competitive. And what they've done is unbelievable. They have won outright at Oklahoma as a dog, outright at Texas as a dog. They got squeezed in that Big 12 championship against Kansas State. They had that first time in overtime. They had the ball and they couldn't score, and then Kansas State kicked the game-winning field goal. But they ended up beating Michigan in the college football playoff, where it seemed like Michigan was just going to be in the national championship against Georgia. And Michigan took care of Ohio State in the final game of the regular season. And yet TCU pretty much led that whole game. But with all that being said, TCU still had 2 pick sixes in that game. They had that 70-plus yard touchdown pass on the 3rd and 8 on kind of a busted play. Michigan failed a few times going into the end zone. And this number does tell me a lot. I think the public wants to be on TCU because they want to root for it. Look, I want to see TCU play well. But at the same time, I know what Georgia is. And Georgia held off a really good Ohio State team in the Peach Bowl. But looking at some of the college football national championships the last few years, they've been decided by 15, 28, 17, and 28 the last 4 years. They've been blowouts. And just because Georgia wins by 17 doesn't mean, oh, my God, they're so much better. But I think Georgia takes care of business here. We have not seen a back-to-back national champion in the college football playoff. I think this is big on many points for Georgia. Obviously, it's big for TCU, but I think the line says a lot here. I think the game stays under the total, too. After seeing the 2 crazy overs on Saturday, I think maybe it goes backwards a bit. Georgia's still pretty good defensively, even though they've given up a lot of points the last 2 games to LSU and Ohio State. But I think Georgia takes care of business here and wins the national championship again and beats TCU.
Kevin, I think you just talked me into Georgia.
You're welcome.
I'll be making a pick on Monday's program. Well, I'll say thank you if it hits. I will curse you if they
You're
lose.
Still welcome.
Okay, guys.
Anyway.
All right, I'll take that. Okay, guys, I want to tell you about the Vegas Insider app, it gives you all the major sports betting odds at your fingertips, along with picks and expert breakdowns. You can shop for the best odds, find props, futures, and plenty more with the app. If you want more Vegas Insider content like our shows, videos, and podcasts, you can find it all on the Vegas Insider app in the media section. Download the Vegas Insider app on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. There you have it. Okay, it is now time for the viewer picks segment of the program. We had a handful of submissions here this morning. Weren't able to get them all in, but we do have some good ones here, so we will rip through these. Jim Ward, hold on here. Clarity on this one on my end of the computer. I gotta fix this up a little bit here. He's got the Stars -1.5 in Anaheim, taking on the Ducks here. Stars are 12-6-3 on the road, while Anaheim is 6-10-1 at home. Not to mention, the Stars have the second best goal differential in the league, while the Ducks are dead last in that category. Yeah, I kind of like the Stars maybe in regulation, -130. They do have their backup goalie in that second game of a back-to-back as well, but the Ducks are awful. Just a horrible excuse for a hockey team. All right, what do we have next here? Okay, Matty Poppy Sports, he likes Nevada. -4.5 here, Kevin, versus Colorado State, going against you, apparently. Colorado 1-5 ATS in their last 6 games. Nevada 7-1-1 ATS in their last 9 at home, and 9-2 ATS in their last 11 home games, versus a team with a road winning percentage of less than 400. Digging deep for that one. You know, I usually would say good luck, but he's going against you, Kevin. And we say at the end of the show, bad luck if you were fading us. So, yeah, I'm on Kevin's side, and we can't get a push there. So, Matty Puppy, good luck next time is what I will say. Next up, Betting Benny, Third and Ben. He's submitted a number of times before. He likes the Devils in regulation here. Complete mismatch in terms of Corsi, expected goals for and allowed. Both season long and over the last 30 days. Yeah, big analytics edge here for the Devils, no doubt about it. Even during the recent skid, they were consistently outplaying opponents. He was saying New Jersey 14-3 in their last 17 versus a team with a losing record. Yeah, they do tend to beat up on bad teams. Even money, Devils in regulation. I can't complain with that. Can't argue with that, I should say. Okay, what do we have next? UGA +8. This is from our guy, Captain Axe's Locks. He bought a half a point, get that up to -120. UGA is 6-3 ATS in their last 9 games, while Auburn is 3-6 ATS in their last 9. Fairly even matchup with both teams averaging 72 points per game and allowing 63 points per game. AUB shooting 29.7% from 3 and 67.1% at the free throw line. What is going on here compared to UGA? Shooting much better. Give me the home dogs. +270. So what's he doing there? Is he taking the spread or the money line? A bit confusing there. Okay. Yeah, either way, he does like the underdog. Okay, guys, it is now time to tell you about today's handicapper heat check. Presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today's featured handicapper is Steven Nober, who hit 4 straight NBA winners and has a 6-1 NHL record in his last 5 days. Will Rogers stayed hot in the NBA, nailing 6 wins in a row, and AAA Sports is on a 3-0 run in both the NBA and NHL. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for tonight's best bets. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, bettors. All right, Kevin. Winding right down here. What do you have coming up at Vegas Insider this week that people can check out?
We got a couple NFL best bet videos, Joe, and obviously we have the college football national championship video for Georgia TCU. So in case you missed the show, you can just watch the video and see. I pretty much say everything else I said to you. But you can check out that video on YouTube. Also, we have some best bets for Suns and Cavs tonight as well, with sports betting now legal in Ohio, OHIO.
Indeed.
So you can check that out as well. And just this other side note for you, Joe, the Dolphins signed Mike Glennon to their practice squad.
Yeah, so they're in a situation where Mike Glennon could be backing up Skylar Thompson. That's pretty ideal when you're in a must-win game, final game of the season.
7-foot-tall Mike Glennon.
So I've all but given up on the 2022-23 Miami Dolphins. I think there is a situation where, hey, maybe they do win. The Jets are probably the worst team that they've played during the slide that they're on. And let's not pretend that the Jets are any good. But all that would be waiting for Miami. Maybe Miami plays well and they throw us all off the scent here. And what would be waiting for them would be the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs, where maybe they'll lose by 35 or 40 points. So, but hey, if they get into the playoffs, I'll take it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not expecting good things, Kevin. I've made that mistake with this team before. They throw you off the scent, and then they completely burn you. So, Mike Glennon, we support you. So good for Mike Glennon back in the league. Okay, guys, that is it for today's show. Be back tomorrow. Ian McMillan will be back with me, digging into more NBA, NHL, and college hoops. Good luck with your bets tonight, unless you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo!